No, you seem to be pretty contemplative, contemplative.
No, that is just the stomach problems that I've been having.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Has to Do with Spider-Man, I think. Thank you for tuning in for yet another episode. My name is Jarrett.
I'm Peyton.
And I'm Noah.
Well, folks, if you have any familiarity with the Sony Pictures slate that was announced and things that were in development of some level or another, throughout those first couple years, you'll remember that before El Muerto, there was at one point a spy espionage heist sort of film seemingly in the works called Silver and Black, which was a team-up film between Silver Sable and Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. A script was written, it didn't go anywhere, it got dropped, it was rewritten, and then eventually canceled entirely. The script is out there as well if you wish to read it. I did, specifically to know what not to put in this script. I didn't want any overlap between what was and what is now.
Intriguing.
And interestingly enough, there's a lot of elements from that script that have already been used, like Tarantula, Scorpion, I think, not Miles Warren, but I don't know, some other little animal scientist guy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those running around.
A lot of elements that we've already established were put together into that Silver and Black script. So when we set out to set up a Phase 2 slate after El Muerto came out, I knew that I wanted to try and take a stab at one of these movies that was planned and never was meant to be, seemingly. And so here we have my pitch for Silver and Black.
Okay.
And I'm really proud of this. Much like most of my pitches, my scriptments, this came a little down to the wire and the ending is a little bit truncated. But what is here I am really, really proud of, and I think it's a lot of fun. I hope that people feel the same way as we go through. I think a lot of it was inspired by sort of the more zanier elements of Peter and Prowler, ironically enough. Like, after listening to that, I was like, I need to dial up the crazy.
Thank you.
And so I hope I captured the spirit of that in pieces.
Heck yeah. So, Silver Sable and Black Cat, besides the Sony leak, what kind of what's your sort of history with both of these characters? I personally, with Silver Sable, I only really learned about her through the 2018 Spider-Man game. But Black Cat, I was always kind of intrigued by as a kid growing up because I had seen her design in Shattered Dimensions. And I was like, I thought that Catwoman was a DC character. And so I've always kind of been, intrigued by Black Cat. But
I'll bet you have.
Oh, stop it.
I'll behave.
I'll behave.
Behave, darling.
You're getting too raunchy for this PG podcast.
We've been over this. This podcast is not PG.
True.
My own personal experience with, or just prior knowledge for both of these characters, Silver Sable, near none. I was aware of her prior to the 2018 game, but knew next to nothing about her. I think I just kind of knew the name and was told that she was some sort of mercenary, maybe. And I was like, okay, I don't really care. Felicia Hardy is a character that I think my first introduction to was probably Spectacular Spider-Man. That's where a lot of my initial experiences come from with a lot of Spidey stuff. I didn't jump on the Raimi trilogy at an early age, but Spectacular Spider-Man was kind of like my in for I like this story and these characters. And Felicia and her father, who I think some interpretations also call the Black Cat, and other ones make the Black Fox her father, and other people don't touch the father and just do her mentor, the Black Fox. There are differing interpretations, but Spectacular Spider-Man was my introduction to Felicia, and with so much going on with like the status of Peter's relationship with MJ, I have always personally thought that because Felicia was more in tune with like Peter's superhero life, that they made for a better pair.
Right.
I've never been a huge Mary Jane fan because my only experience with her as a character was the Raimi trilogy, in which I found her annoying, and everybody complaining that she's not any good in the comics. There are really good, profound moments from like the 80s. I'm shocker, I'm not 40 years old.
You gotta read the Straczynski stuff, though.
Mm-hmm.
MJ in the Straczynski run is so good.
Yeah. MJ's in a funny place. She really is in a funny place, and it's interesting because so much of her character is so tied to Spider-Man, and then in like the last 20 years or so, there's been this sort of desire to make her like separate from Peter, and it's like, okay, we get them divorced. Now she's interning for Tony Stark. Now she is like a superhero. Now she's like bonded with Venom, and there's this sort of desire amongst like the comics fan base of like, we got to get MJ and Peter back together. And in my mind, I know Payne's hot take of the day, let's get it out of the way. I think that MJ is like so developed as a character outside of Peter at this point that for her to go back to Peter Parker is almost like reductive to both characters. So I agree that maybe it should be like possibly Felicia. I've seen Kitty Pryde. I've seen like right now in the current Spider-Man run, Peter Parker's with some like alien woman. like like there's different things that you could do, different love interests that are almost as interesting as Mary Jane is.
I just kind of disagree where like
I just kind of think you're both wrong entirely.
No, that's fair. But like it's like splitting up Superman and Lois Lane.
That's been done.
And it has been done, but it's never stuck because everybody kind of understands that they have to be together because it's Clark Kent and Lois Lane. And it's the same thing for Peter and MJ.
Right.
And you can absolutely develop MJ as her own character for a while. By all means, give her development, give her a lot to do apart from Peter at certain points. But I just kind of think that they have to come back together at some point. I think it's ridiculous that they haven't yet. Anyway, MJ's not even in this pitch.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, MJ's not in this pitch. We brought up Felicia, and then it immediately veered off course. When drafting this script, obviously the last place we saw Felicia Hardy was in Spectacular Spider-Man, now known to be a Ben Reilly pitch, in which Ben sort of just met Felicia for seemingly the first time, or did not have any knowledge that her and Peter had been dating for a couple weeks to a month while they were doing like stakeouts together, and unknowingly kind of ruined that for Peter. So it's somewhat important to the plot of this that Felicia is now on her own and not in a relationship, but that their breakup is fresh. It doesn't come up a lot, but I wanted this to be a story that involved Peter as little as possible in terms of like his connection to these two characters.
Sure.
Just make a story about Black Cat and Silver Sable. Peter
Right.
Parker does not have to be in the arc or the plot or involved as a supporting character. No.
You said the other night after, so okay, for context for our audience, we had just last night recorded an episode with the excellent Escape the Mojoverse, and it's a crazy guest episode, but after the call, Jarrett said something about how Peter Parker, our Spider-Man, has kind of become this phase's Coulson in an interesting way where he's around, he does stuff for the plot, but he's not at all the main character. And I mean, that's the sort of like natural extension of the original premise of our podcast, where it's a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, and now we have a Spider-Man, but but the movies are not about him at all.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really fun. It allows us to play with these characters that kind of get overlooked. I mean, Black Cat, she gets a lot of play in the comics right now. She's on her second run, like second ongoing. But you don't really see a lot about Silver Sable anymore. Most recently, she was in Uncanny Spider-Man, which was about Kurt Wagner, a Nightcrawler.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the comparison. I like the the comparison of Spider-Man being this universe's Coulson, because he weaves in and out of the stories. He's allowed to be present and be a connecting tissue, but he's not the main character, and he's not necessarily important to the plot of the individual stories themselves. Because at the end of the day, this is a universe about the characters surrounding Spider-Man, not necessarily about Spider-Man. I even joked that it would be funny if at some point we made our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was just a multi-season show about Peter in college, which everybody seems to just want anyway. And there's a universe where all these movies were made and nobody's seeing them, and then they make the show and everybody watches that.
Right. It'd be so funny. Well, do you want to just hop into it? We've done a lot of prefacing. I'm really intrigued by this, man.
I know we have a few episode predictions, I believe.
Oh, yes. Let me pull these up real quick. So the first prediction comes from the Booski.
The Booski?
Or the Booski, yeah, the blue sky.
Oh, that's what that is.
Oh. It's like, is there a user in our Discord named Booski?
No, the Booski. Typus in Neon says that Silver Sable, they believe that Silver Sable will hire Black Cat for a heist, specifically on the Kingpin, which kind of ties into a lot of what we've been approaching this phase with some of the stuff in Big Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. Silver and Black kind of does hint at the idea of these two working together in some capacity.
I thought we were just talking about the colors.
A movie about Crayola, specifically two of them.
Yes.
I said in the Blue Sky post, because our last episode, of course, was Peter and Prowler, and the whole sort of thing about that was it was a total misdirect. It wasn't about Peter Parker or Hobie Brown. It was about Aaron Davis and Peter Parquois.
Mm-hmm.
I said in the thing, I was like, unless this is about Black Fox and Silver Surfer. so it'd be interesting. Over on the Discord, be sure to join our free Discord. You can access it in the description. Jonah says that we will finally get the return of Craven and Chameleon here, which kind of piques my interest. So we have grappled a lot with Morbius. We've played a little bit with Venom. Hell, we've even touched a lot of Madam Web that came out wrong. We've there's no way that's gonna come out right. So
Calm, breathe,
calm down,
collect yourself.
Let us let him sit with us for a bit.
Sit with that.
We haven't grappled with Kraven the Hunter really at all ever since our discussion episode.
Mhm.
We had him pop up in the post-credit scene. He's obviously working with Silver Sable, at least at that point in Lethal Protectors, but we just have not discussed Craven, the Rhino, Chameleon. I mean,
Well,
I
the
know the
Rhino's
Rhino's
dead.
dead, but like maybe there's something else. I don't know. But I just want to hear him go again, right? Like so I kind of agree with Jonah. I hope that there's a return of either Craven or the Chameleon. That I'm very intrigued
The
by the premise.
Cramelian.
The Chameleon. Noah, do you have any predictions of your own?
I don't really. I am ready to just kind of let the ride take me where it may.
Valid. One last prediction. This comes from friend of the pod and former guest. Actually, I have two predictions. Friend of the pod, former guest Luke. He says, "Do you remember that song Gasolina? You know, pardon the gasolina. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Sure.
He just says Silver Sabolita." and I guess this is possibly a dance sequence prediction, maybe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, possibly set to Gasolina.
I will confirm or deny
Involving-
nothing.
Okay.
Possibly, yeah.
And then the Silver Sable on the Discord
Mhm.
says, "I think this will be a movie about Felicia getting entangled in the deeper parts of the underworld that Silver Sable is actually closely affiliated with."
Hmm.
So a lot of sort of predictions involving like tying into, and I saw some previous predictions, not just on the Discord but also on the Blue Sky, of like hopes and aspirations that these characters are going to come into conflict somehow involving the underworld of our Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where this goes.
All right. All interesting guesses. I think we'll have to come back to at least one or two of these later to kind of see how they differ. But I'm ready to get into it if you guys are.
For
Yep.
sure. Let's hop into it.
Well, submitted for the approval of the Sony Pictures Universe Board, I present Silver and Black. Act 1. As the Sony and Columbia Pictures logo close out, we fade in on the Frick Collection, an art museum on the Upper East Side in Manhattan. Real place. We watch as wealthy visitors lazily wander up the stairs towards the front door. Ticket taker, played by Keith David, smiles kindly and patiently and takes tickets. In a moment of quiet, he immediately drops the smile and speaks into the underside of his watch. "Tell me you're on your way out of there." A moment's pause.
Boris, I'm going to have to get back to you later. Call you in 5?
We cut to the inside where Felicia Hardy, played by Mikey Madison, is surrounded by security guards, led by a man named Sonny Ocampo, played by Ross Marquand.
Did you really think we wouldn't realize who you were the second you walked in here?
I mean, not really. I'm kind of well known by now. I'd be more surprised if you hadn't heard of me.
The Black Cat thinks she can walk in here, take what she wants, and get out without a scratch.
Okay. That one I do think is true.
Sonny gets irritated, getting close enough to whisper. You see the tag on his shirt sleeve reads Sable International.
You know it took me a long time to get back in my boss's good graces. She entrusted me with keeping this place safe, and I will be damned if my first shot of redemption gets taken out by the likes of you.
He looks to his guards before putting a finger to his earpiece.
Kevin, is anything missing from the museum?
We cut to a man behind a wall of monitors, checking every camera in the building. Kevin is actually lying unconscious on the floor, while a blonde man named Bruno Granger, played by Aaron Eckhart, speaks into a small device on his suit collar.
All clear, Sonny. Still as boring as ever, but everything's here. Good. Now, Miss Hardy, if you'll please allow me to escort you back to your vehicle.
Felicia rolls her eyes and sighs in disappointment, clearly mocking Sonny.
Well, that's a shame. I do appreciate the arts.
Sonny doesn't seem to notice the sarcasm. Instead, he casually walks Felicia outside to a waiting car. Boris, from the front, who was taking tickets, and Bruno, who was behind the wall of computers, are waiting for her when they arrive. Without a word, Felicia steps into the car and blows a kiss as the car revs to life. Just then, someone yells into Sonny's earpiece.
Yeah, no, she just left. Whoa, slow down. You said what's wrong with the cameras?
A pause. Sonny slowly turns towards the side of the car as it begins to pull away.
You!
Before Sonny can follow, the car is already turning the corner over a stone bridge and disappearing from sight. We cut to see the inside of the car as Boris Corpse lifts the rear seats to reveal that the trunk is stacked high with multiple priceless paintings. Felicia stands up through the sunroof into the cool night air and hollers with joy. Sonny falls to his knees in silence for a moment before he speaks.
Miss Sablanova's gonna kill me.
Hard cut to a gunshot ringing out in the middle of an otherwise quiet warehouse. On-screen text tells us we are in Nigeria. A young woman with silvery white hair and tactical gear to match holds the smoking gun before firmly putting it back in its holster. This is Sylvia Sablanova, Silver Sable, played in the film by Samara Weaving. We establish here that Sable International is essentially a small army financed by her uncle Frisk. Recently her uncle has stopped giving updates since re-entering negotiations with the Sumkarian president to stay in their good graces. They've worked hard since the murder of the majority of the Sablanov family to retain their reputation, even though they've abdicated the throne in order to do it. This is Sable International's first job that has gone south under Sylvia's watch. She seeks to correct that.
What was the name he gave for the thief again?
The Black Cat, Mrs. Sablanova.
Sylvia sighs. She seems almost bored, irritated.
And do we have record of the alias?
Yes, but records of their activities date back over 50 years. Whoever this is likely a copycat, but it doesn't help us narrow down potential suspects.
And the cameras inside the Frisk building.
Soldier passes a laptop to Sylvia, who snatches it away from the soldier without looking up.
Most video records were wiped, but we were able to get a still image of someone we suspect was involved with the burglary.
We see over Sylvia's shoulder that it's a very obscured photo of Felicia, though it appears to have been salvaged from corrupted footage. Sort of a blurry, distorted corner of a single frame from the camera that's been blown up.
Who is she?
That's just it, ma'am. She doesn't register in our database at all. No birth certificate, no fingerprints, no doctor's visits. As far as we can tell, she doesn't exist. She's a ghost.
Sylvia stares at the image for a few seconds before she finally speaks.
Prepare the chopper. We'll need someone better than our tech to track her down. Whoever she is.
Ma'am, with all due respect, what could possibly be better than our international surveillance?
Instincts.
We cut from here to the middle of an overgrown rainforest. Nothing but deep rivers and overgrown jungle as far as the eye can see. Trees so thick they nearly blot out the sun. On-screen text says that we are now in Ghana. A man in his mid-40s is startled awake by the sounds of the region's animals. He jumps up, looks around frantically. He's dressed in an expensive suit and tie, which have already been soaked in mud and sweat. He's clearly not familiar with the area, and he's scared. Hello? Someone help! We watch him stumble clumsily through the overgrowth, coming across a variety of local animals that continuously terrify him. He grabs for a vine that turns out to be a very long snake, which hisses and bites at him as he runs away screaming. He's taunted by a gang of monkeys, which decide to follow and torment him for a bit. They eventually leave him to cower against a nearby tree, his sobs slowly turning into heaving breaths as he calms. It's then that he notices the tree he's sitting against. A message is carved deep into its bark. I see you. The man stumbles backwards before colliding with a corpse, similarly clothed and mostly decomposed. It is swarming with flies and oozing larvae. He screams and runs a short distance before running into another, then another and another. He stands surrounded by corpses. Somebody help! Anybody, please help me! A twig snaps. The man slowly raises his head, just in time to see a dark shape descend from the trees above. We cut to a few minutes later, as a figure in a tan, sleeveless coat is bent over the fresh body, working diligently with a large hunting knife. We watch as Sylvia enters the scene from behind dense foliage. The figure, Craven, speaks without looking away from his work. This is also me.
Is he still played by Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
But he's full Russian, thick, heavy Russian accent.
Okay, good.
Which
Thank God.
I will attempt. You know, I don't know why you even bothered trying to sneak up on me. I knew you were here the second you walked into the forest.
I didn't want to sneak up on you. I came looking for your help. I'm not here to fight you.
Of course not. If you were, I'd like to think you'd have tried a little harder. But given we've worked together in the past, I'm assuming you came all this way because you have a job for me, yes? Sylvia hands the photo to Craven.
Botched security job in New York earlier this week. Someone called the Black Cat drove off with a car full of paintings. Cameras were able to get us this one image, but she's got no record to speak of.
You mean no criminal record?
Any records. She doesn't exist as far as we can tell. Thought you might be able to prove the computer's wrong on this one.
Craven looks at the photo intensely for a moment. Does he see some sort of clue? He absent-mindedly tucks the photo into his back pocket. I'll keep an eye out. Let you know when I find anything.
Good. Then I'll just leave you to whatever this is, then. I thought you crossed everyone off your list a year ago.
Craven stands up, hoisting the body into the air along with the others by a vine. The insects have already started swarming the open carcass. He looks up and rubs his hands together to wipe them off. Not everyone. Sylvia sighs.
We still never found your brother.
He's in the wind, but he'll show himself eventually. And you still want to be there when I take him off the board, yes? She nods.
I still can't believe you'd be willing to kill your only family left. I'll need to be there to make sure the job is seen through to the end.
I assure you, I want him dead just as much as you. Sylvia shakes her head.
I know I wouldn't be able to. You're not happy with taking out all his contacts like you have been till now? When will it be enough, Sergei?
Craven shakes his head. The hunt never ends, Sable. Just the prey. Hard cut to the streets of New York City. The recent attacks on the city's infrastructure in Big Wheel has put all hands on deck in an effort to try and repair things. Volunteers are abundant, but other construction sites have been left abandoned for weeks, and many other necessary facilities are woefully understaffed. New York is still a mess. In the hustle and bustle, we see a woman in a large puffy black coat walking by. It's giving Cruella de Vil, but with colors reversed, all black, massive poofy jacket. She walks calmly towards an unassuming building, slipping sideways into a hidden corner under the stairs. We follow her into a walled-off, spacious, internal section of the building, hidden well enough that you wouldn't know it existed unless you had the original blueprints. This is the cat's hideaway. She is greeted by a man with slicked back graying hair and a handlebar mustache that would make you see God. Seriously puts the most extravagant circus ringmaster to shame. This is the Black Fox, played in the film by Timothy Omenson.
Yes! I love Timothy Omenson. That's psych.
Mm-hmm.
Love that man.
It's good.
Oh, that's me. What's an accent that he would have?
It's whatever you want. Somewhere between Queens and British.
Felicia!
Fox opens his arms wide, to which Felicia runs to embrace him.
It's good to see you, Papa.
They begin to discuss Felicia's most recent heist while monitoring multiple news feeds and stolen camera feeds from the Frick Collection heist. She then shows off a sizable amount of money that she made from the job, and gives the vast majority of it to Fox.
Felicia, you know I can't.
Papa, no. We've been over this. You taught me everything you know, and I'm paying it forward. With any luck, you'll be in a hammock hidden away on a beautiful island within a year.
She chuckles.
As long as you don't gamble it all away, anyway.
Fox laughs at this in return.
Gosh, you played poker with Dracula one time.
Felicia rolls her eyes.
Maybe one day you'll tell me what actually happened on that last job, because there is no way that...
Before she can finish that sentence, the door behind them is kicked in and their hideout is flooded with guards.
Nobody move!
Felicia immediately jumps into action to attempt to take out as many as she can. Felicia is incredibly fast and flexible, using her speed and acrobatics to disorient some of Sable's forces. She is mostly successful, although she finds a match in Craven's brute strength, who she can barely stay out of reach from. Fox is able to hold his own as well, but all it takes is one wrong move before he's brought to his knees with a gun to his head.
One more move, and I swear you will see the inside of his head.
Felicia freezes, her eyes filled with rage. But that's all the hesitation it takes for her to be surrounded by soldiers, guns aimed and ready. She groans in frustration, but relents. Craven, who is able to track Felicia here, also seems disappointed their fight was cut short. Seriously, Silver? I was just starting to break a sweat.
You'll bring more than that if you don't call your girlfriend off. Take those guns off my father.
Sylvia and Craven both scoff at the romantic implication, and she presses the gun harder to Fox's head. Sylvia begins to question the both of them about the whereabouts of the paintings, why they were after them, and where her accomplices are now. Felicia spills the beans immediately. She got her money, so what happens to those paintings now she couldn't care less about as long as her father is safe. Craven is thoroughly bored by this and wanders off. As the questions continue, he notices something playing on Felicia's news feeds. Silver, take a look at this. She peers around the desk at a live news feed, saying that a violent coup of the Simkarian government is currently underway, which is seemingly being perpetrated by Silvia's Uncle Frisk. At the same time, all the soldiers get alerts from their gear, turning their wrists over to reveal a message transmitter. It reads, Silvia Sablonova, wanted for treason. Current bounty, $2 million. Alive. The guards look to one another slowly, clearly uncertain of what comes next. Then all hell breaks loose. Whether it be Simkarian loyalists looking to capture a traitor, or opportunists looking for a quick payday, all of Silver's troops have turned on her. What follows is all 4 of our characters fighting off a large wave of Simkarian soldiers, as more begin to pour in from vehicles outside. No time to write an extended fight sequence here, but Silver is doing some wicked John Wick Black Widow type shit, gun-fu mixed with various forms of martial arts. Felicia is highly acrobatic, as I said before, and focuses on tactics to quickly knock out her opponents, which she was trained for as a master thief. Meanwhile, Craven is a hulking brute who is tearing people apart. When the last of the soldiers is down, the 3 of them look to one another. Felicia demands to know what is going on, and not seeing a reason to hide what's already clearly all over the news, they explain the situation. Craven suggests that Frisk could secretly be his brother, the Chameleon, finally deciding to make a power play. Silvia, stranded in a foreign country with no aid and seemingly betrayed by her only family, asks for help in returning to Simkaria to save it from revolt and stop the Chameleon. Felicia reluctantly agrees to help them get back to Simkaria, but only if she and Fox are wiped off of Sable International's criminal hit list. Silvia agrees to this. Obviously, there would be more back and forth, like a lot more heated debate, because they just tried to kill them. But Silvia's stranded. She has to do quite a bit of bootlicking and sucking up here, which she's not accustomed to. And she is able to convince Felicia, not so much Fox, but it's enough for her to be willing to help.
We'll need a team to help us get through this alive.
Felicia smiles.
I think I could make a few calls.
End of Act 1.
Okay. Very cool. So we are fully into the continuing Sablonov story, which is surprisingly a consistent through line in these movies, which I was not expecting when we started this out. The Simkaria politics just kind of popped out of nowhere during this planning.
Somebody in our predictions mentioned that Felicia would be brought into Silvia's world of the criminal underbelly. This is the opposite. Silvia has been in charge of a private army security task force on behalf of Simkaria. Felicia's the one with criminal connections. And so what we're going to see here, as teased by this cliffhanger, is Felicia showing Silvia the criminal underbelly a bit, which is going to be a little bit of an odd experience for her, given she has spent her entire life training to learn how to track down and take out criminals.
I like this. I like this premise, and I like that Craven is around. This kind of it funnily enough makes this a spiritual sequel to Craven the Hunter and Mr. and Mrs. Parker, consequently making it a spiritual sequel to Madam Web.
My turn to make a spin-off of Madam Web.
It's your turn.
Spin-off of the spin-off. We don't really do sequels much. We tend to do spin-offs of spin-offs that still carry over the overarching story.
It's very comic booky in that sense.
We're just kind of building off of whatever foundation we think will do best for the story. And if that means a sequel to Madam Web, like twice removed by this point, then that's what it has to be.
Right. I'm really enjoying this. I think I'm just happy to see Craven again, man. I like you write it really well. I really like that introductory scene. And I like the juxtaposition between when Sunny is like, "Oh, she's gonna kill me," and then like you hear the gunshot. I like that as a premise in terms of like juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm.
And you could really picture that in a movie. And this just reminded me, you didn't tell us who your director would be.
That's right, I didn't. And this is going to be an odd pick for him if all you've seen is Act 1, because Act 1 kind of feels more like straightforward and I guess tense.
Mm-hmm.
Like plays like just a general spy thriller. Act 2 is
Sure.
where it gets, now we're seeing Felicia's side of things, and it's going to get a lot different. But our director is Brad Bird.
Okay.
Okay.
Who
I see where this is going.
you're familiar with from like mostly animation, Iron Giant and Incredibles, but the reason he's being grabbed here is for Mission Impossible Ghost
Ratatouille.
Protocol. Ratatouille. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was a major inspiration for a lot of some of these action sequences and the sort of spy infiltration stuff, which I say inspiration. Some of them are more fleshed out, and I feel like I channeled that sort of energy. And in other places, especially in Act 3, I'd like it if we could kind of spitball a bit and kind of come up with some cool ideas that would kind of fit the Brad Bird style, if you're familiar with it.
For sure.
Fair.
Once we
Yeah.
get there. Act 2 will kind of give you a better idea of the vibe and tone.
And because of the Ratatouille influence, Act 2 will take place entirely in Paris.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this, man. Do we just want to keep going on? This is
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Act
Take
2.
a sip of your water. I'm sorry.
Damn it. Act 2. Damn it. Act 2.
Are you gonna?
I will drive to your house in Kentucky and shank you.
Okay, I'm locked in now.
Act 2. Fox and Felicia split up to make a few calls. Fox reaches out to Boris Corpse and Bruno Granger from the Frick heist and explains the situation to them in private. They happily agree. They've been ride or die with both Fox and Felicia for years, seemingly, and they are absolutely down for another payday. Meanwhile, Felicia calls in some favors to get in touch with some more specialized individuals, we'll say. The following scenes we would cut between as they happen. So this bit and the next bit, you'd kind of be, I don't know, for whatever reason in my head, I think this is an Ocean's 11 thing. I don't think it actually is, but like you're getting a piece of the one scene and then you see a piece of the next scene and they kind of interplay with one another.
No, that's definitely Ocean's 11.
Okay.
That is an Ocean's 11.
I thought I was going crazy. It's been a minute since I've seen Ocean's 11.
That's a Soderbergh.
That's a Soderbergh bit.
Yes.
And oftentimes whenever I think of this, like you can imagine like one character being like
Soderbergh staple.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could imagine a character being like, oh man, she's gonna stab me, and then like in the next moment in the different location, it's like the girl and she's like, I wouldn't stab anybody to save my life except for this one person. Like it's like that sort of juxtaposition and
Yeah.
yeah, sort of dramatic irony, I guess.
Felicia walks through a rougher side of New York towards a nasty-looking apartment complex. She gets a few distant catcalls from someone down an alley who she promptly flips the bird without even looking in their direction. She makes her way to a certain apartment number she has written down and knocks on the door. No answer.
I know you can hear me, Quentin, you sack of shit. Get your ass out of here. You said you'd hear me out.
After another minute or two of waiting and occasionally knocking, she finally just picks the lock and lets herself in. However, as soon as she opens the door, she is sucked into a gigantic purple swirling vortex, pulling the door shut behind her. She sails end over end through technicolor nightmares and past eldritch creatures beyond comprehension, screaming the whole way down before landing on the floor of a much different building. Welcome to the legally distinct Sanctum Sanctorum. Pristine wood floors, tinted glass windows of intricate design, and a massive library of artifacts and books that look older than time itself. And right in the center is Quentin Beck, played by Ben Barnes,
Heck yes.
who I mostly know from Jigsaw as Jigsaw from The Punisher.
Others will know him as Prince Caspian.
Mm-hmm. Prince Caspian. Forgot about Prince Caspian.
Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian.
Mm-hmm.
He's in T-Mobile ads as well.
Yeah, he's done T-Mobile ads lately. Those are funny. He is draped in a purple velvet robe, shirtless, seemingly in his underwear, and wearing the biggest shit-eating grin you can imagine. He's also slow clapping, because of course he is. Felicia! Quite an entrance, I must say. How are you, darling?
Quit with the pompousness, Quentin. You and I both know it doesn't suit you.
Quentin rolls his eyes and snaps his fingers with a sigh, and they teleport to another chamber, complete with massive, fluffy armchairs and cups of tea already waiting for them. All right then, love. Since you won't let me have any fun, I suppose I won't let you either. What's the story? Be quick before I throw you back into my home security. We cut from here to a dock on a quiet beach off the New York coast. At first, it seems as if we'll cut to someone on the dock, but instead we pan down below it during low tide. Felicia just stands there in her coat, feeling very out of place.
Flint, come on, I'm here, just like I said I would be. No one else is here. Could you come out now?
From underneath her feet, there's a low, quiet rumble. The sand begins to shift and roil, beginning to pile in front of her from beneath. It picks up shells, trash, and other debris as it rises to stand taller than Felicia herself, slowly gaining more features. It eventually shapes itself into the form of Rohan Campbell. This is Flint Marko, the Sandman. So the idea I'm going for here is that because it's a nasty-ass beach, as he forms up and he starts to look like a person, he's got like a bottle sticking out of his chest and like a starfish on his shoulder. Shells are like over top of his shirt and stuff. It's like embedded into him because it's the beach. You've seen a nasty ass beach during low tide. It's a mess.
It's gross, yeah.
And so he is made out of a nasty ass low tide beach.
I like that. I like that visual. Are you sure it's safe? No one will see us? Relax, Sandy. I've checked and double checked. Nobody's here looking for you, except for me, obviously. What do you want? How would you like to make some serious money? I know you've got that someone special you're looking out for. Baby just recently born too, right? Don't you talk about them. Just saying. You'll make enough to set aside for a long time if this works out.
Flint gets quiet for a bit.
You sure?
Felicia smiles. She's got him.
Absolutely.
So, we take a break here to just comment on what we've seen so far. We have Sandman here, who pretty self-explanatory. If Rohan Campbell, if you're not familiar with the name, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Corey Cunningham from Halloween Ends. I'm sure he's been in other things, but if you're familiar with Halloween Ends, then you get the vibe. I didn't want to go for somebody who was like very square-jawed, older fella.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that before, and the situation he finds himself in, I kind of see him as being like somebody in his mid-late 20s, probably got married because his girlfriend got pregnant, and immediately kind of was behind on trying to keep them safe, did some stuff he wasn't supposed to, got into an accident and got the sand powers. And so he just scrounges up money wherever he can and just drops off envelopes. So like he cares, but he obviously can't be there because he's a wanted fugitive.
I like that it still kind of aligns itself with the sort of Spider-Man 3 Flint Marko in a lot of aspects, but he is still his own sort of thing. And I think that that's like this, and also the Quentin Beck that you've introduced are both so original compared to the like Sam Raimi or MCU versions, that it really it continues to kind of make 688 be a interesting blip of the general multiverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Quentin's the closest thing this universe has to a Sorcerer Supreme. We can't call him that, obviously, but Quentin Beck is he has magic. He can just do magic. He's a straight up sorcerer. We don't explain how he got these powers. We don't say anything about it. But We've seen a one-to-one adaptation of Mysterio in Far From Home. Say what you will about that movie, I don't particularly think it's the greatest. That is a straight-up adaptation of Quentin Beck
Mm-hmm.
Mysterio. The costume is nearly one for one. The vibe, the secret plans, it's nearly perfectly identical. So I was like, take a swing. Do something very different. I was like, what if Mysterio's just magic? And we'll get to play with that a little bit coming up later.
I like that.
We cut from here back to the cat's hideout. Felicia and Fox alongside Quentin and Flint. As Felicia walks in, she notices a text from Peter Parker asking if they can talk. She considers it at first, but then swipes it away. Whatever's going on with him, he needs to sort out for himself. She's got bigger things to worry about. This is the post-credit scene of Ben Reilly.
Okay.
So the implication is that there's a bit of overlap with the end of Ben Reilly and the beginning of this film. Just a little,
Okay.
not enough. Like she left Ben earlier, and then later on she was like planning the Frick heist, and they did that.
You told them why you need their help, right?
I told them enough.
So do the wanted criminals know that an international fugitive with a $2 million bounty on her head is on her way right here or not?
Felicia stammers a bit.
No, not exactly.
Felicia!
No sooner than he says this do Sylvia and Craven reveal themselves. Both Quentin and Flint immediately recognize who this is. She was all over the news. Flint roars, his voice becoming unnaturally deep as he starts to come apart into a wave.
You set me up!
Quentin laughs before quickly flicking his clenched fists, purple energy fields sparking out like shields. No, you idiot. This is the score. 2 mil for her head, remember? More if she's alive, right? Let's get her. Rather than try and talk them down, Sylvia and Craven ready themselves for a fight. Craven snarls a little as he stances up, while Sylvia unsheaths both pistols.
Everyone stop!
They freeze.
I did not bring you all here to kill each other, or turn you in, or cash in on a bounty, or just listen to me for a second.
It takes some convincing, but eventually she's able to calm everyone down and explain to Flint and Quentin what's going on. Meanwhile, Fox looks to check on the whereabouts of Bruno and Boris.
Felicia, check your scanner. Try and get in touch with Boris, would you?
She tries her communicator, but gets nothing. Just white noise, which is unusual. She tries Bruno, but gets the same.
They're not responding. Since when does Boris turn off his communicator?
She turns to face a television screen, which now shows the New York Fire Department putting out a car fire. The news describes it as potentially being a car bombing.
Dad, what type of car does Boris normally...
She trails off. She already knows the answer.
Bruno had said they would be riding together to get here. Fewer vehicles outside that way. Damn it, they know we're coming.
Felicia slowly falls to the floor, clutching her knees and sobbing. Sylvia cautiously gets closer to Felicia. She places a hand on her shoulder.
I am sorry for your loss, Felicia.
Felicia stands up, brushing Sylvia's hand off in a huff.
This had better be worth it, for your sake.
Craven begins to step forward to reprimand her for her threat, but Sylvia waves him off. She knows all too well the pain of losing someone close.
We can't stay here. We have to move. Now.
Cut from here to a large castle on a hill overlooking the country of Simcaria. Sylvia speaks in voiceover.
The capital of Simcaria is nearly impenetrable. A near 400-year-old castle brimming with surveillance tech and top-of-the-line security, thanks to my uncle. To top it all off, security drones scan every wing of every building every 5 to 10 minutes for intruders.
We are shown this as Sylvia describes them.
If it determines you are not welcome there, all alarms will sound and that room will be immediately sealed off from the outside. There will be no escape, and we will be shot 100 times over. If we are not shot on sight, we will be tortured in secret under the deepest catacombs of the castle. Our bodies will never be recovered.
Quentin scoffs. Outstanding.
What's the good news?
From here, we cut to the New York skyline at night, zooming in until we arrive at a federal building. Text at the bottom reads, New York Simcarian Embassy.
The only way to bypass the security is RFID-enabled Simcarian security gear. If we are able to take from the secret stash at the Simcarian Embassy here in New York, We should be able to sneak in undetected.
Cut to the roof of the embassy, where Silvija and Flint are sitting. Silvija asks Flint how exactly his powers work while setting off a small device that will disarm the security alarms. He explains that he can become sentient sand, squeezing through impossibly narrow spaces or becoming insanely large if he so wishes. She points through the window and asks if he can squeeze through the overflow drain in the embassy bathrooms. To which Flint sighs and nods. Yeah, unfortunately he can. He makes his way off the roof and around to the nearest sewer access. Meanwhile, Silvija looks out over the street and remembers a moment from her childhood when the embassy was first opened, in which her and her uncle were paraded out onto the streets of New York as a showcase of peace. She remembers being told in secret, however, that American pigs are what took her family from her, and they were not to be trusted. We witnessed her training as a young girl, being tossed to more and more demanding instructors in the hopes that she would become stronger. The alternative, seemingly, was death. Frisk would insist her pain was her weakness, that if she gave in then, she was unworthy of her family name, that one day the Sablanovs would claw their way back into the world's good graces, but only if they made it happen for themselves. Not long after, Flint is able to make his way inside the embassy. He shivers as he fully forms and mutters a quiet, "Gross," before letting Silvija inside. After a short while, they discover that the uniforms have already been sent to a third party to have shipped back to Simcaria in the morning. Silvija yells in frustration before contacting Felicia, who is busy trying to ignore Quentin being his usual self. Felicia tracks the transaction records and discovers the equipment was given to a man going by the Foreigner.
Oh my god.
This causes Silvija to groan under her breath.
Does that name mean anything to you?
Antonio.
Felicia laughs under her breath a little.
Antonio, huh? You two know each other then?
It's complicated. He's supposedly dead.
Craven chimes in. Because I killed him, the bastard! How's he still alive?
I thought you said it was Calypso that killed him.
Felicia gives a smiley, oh my god, face over her shoulder to Craven now.
Okay. Who's Calypso, big guy? She's single?
Craven growls and leaves the room in a huff.
I'll take that as a yes then. Don't worry, I'll grab her number later.
They're able to discover that Foreigner is making one last stop at the resort's World Casino, also a real place, before transporting the cargo in the morning. Both teams agree to convene there and determine a strategy once they arrive. No sooner than they leave do we see a dark shape quietly land where they once stood, almost entirely cast in shadow, all except for two white eyes, barely perceptible in the darkness. Cut to the inside of the resort's World Casino, a massive complex with slots and poker tables as far as the eye can see. That is, if you can get inside.
We need a distraction or we're never getting in.
Felicia ponders for a moment before spotting a hot pink Ferrari in the parking lot. She rubs her temples in exhaustion at what she's just realized.
Oh no, guys, I think I have an idea.
Cut to the inside of the casino at a poker table by the entrance. A man in a big afro and hot pink tuxedo is yelling loudly about how much money he's losing when he gets a phone call. He turns to answer the phone, revealing the face of Eric Andre. This is Hypno Hustler.
Oh my god. Yeah? Oh, hey girl, what's hanging? You need a what? Oh girl, hang on, I can't understand you. Oh, I know what you want.
Without hesitation, he leaps onto the top of the poker table.
No.
The others at the table try to coax him down, but eventually security guarding the front entrance are called over to handle the disturbance.
You need me to spread a little boogie fever then. Well, say no more, love. I was starting to get bored of this dump anyway. It's time!
He ends the call, slapping one knee as he does so. The others at the table are forced out of their chairs as if they were pushed all at once.
2!
The guards close in only to be frozen in their tracks. Eric Andre points to the sky with one arm outstretched, finger out. The table around them are forced to stand as well.
Do the hustle!
This is said by Hypno Hustler, and about 40 other people are all around him. Do the Hustle by Van McCoy inexplicably starts to play from nowhere. Like a scene ripped out of Ghostbusters 2016, Eric Andre begins to lead the ever-growing crowd as they each grab a partner and start to do the hustle. This is our dance scene.
Yeah, I could tell.
This is extended. This goes for like a minute or two. We just watch
Yeah, I figured.
And by the way, Eric Andre's dancing with himself. Like everybody else has a partner, but he knows the do the hustle dance by heart, and so he's being both people at once, just dancing with himself, grabbing a partner on occasion and doing it, and then he swaps and does another. He's having the time of his life.
So I'm
like
very, very clearly seeing my mind's eye the trailer for Silver and Black, and it's epic heist music going on, fast shots to action scenes here and there, and then just like a random 5-second shot of Eric Andre bathed in like pink disco lights, doing this disco fingers on the table. Nothing else in the trailer referring to this scene, but everybody online is like, what the frick was that?
there's several YouTubers that they're like, did we just see the reveal of Hypno Hustler in the new Silver and Black movie? Like,
Eric Boss loses his mind. New Rockstars has 5 videos posted within the last 3 days about Hypno Hustler and what this could mean for the Sony universe.
One has him posing and it says like, what is he doing? Like it's like circling him. What is
It's the
does he know?
It's the does he know, but it's a close up of Eric Andre doing
Yeah. I love
Doing
that.
the
I love that
pose.
as a
The
premise.
hustle.
Yeah, the hustle.
Does he
Oh my
do
God.
does he do the hustle?
Does he know the hustle?
I really hope we get to see more of this guy. If this is just his one moment, I understand, but Hypno Hustler's gonna have to stay.
Do the
hustle.
Do the hustle.
We cut to Felicia and the crew
Know
outside
about that
who
from
wait.
the Lorax.
Hmm?
Know about that from the Lorax.
Oh yeah, it was in that movie. We cut to Felicia and the crew outside who wait until they see disco lights start to shine outside the casino windows. Where did the disco ball come from? I don't know. He seems to just spawn music and disco stuff wherever he goes.
His afro.
That's our cue.
You have the Hypno Hustler's number saved?
Not by choice, but he always seems to come in handy when you least expect him.
I didn't know you had so many international criminals on speed dial.
Yeah, and I'll remind you that you currently have no friends. You know what friends are, right? Like people you can trust, not just because you pay their salary.
Sylvia frowns, then turns to face the casino.
Touché.
They locate Foreigner by slipping around the group, which is also like as more security's coming, they just freeze and then they just start to dance. By this point, the song has changed to something else, something like Boogie Wonderland. Well, that was in Ben Riley, but something else by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And everybody's just it's a slowly growing mass near the front entrance. Nobody else is getting in, so they're able, and they're massive distractions. So Felicia and the crew are able to get around them. They locate Foreigner, who is currently at another poker table with a girl over his shoulder and absolutely crushing it. Savihas sidles up and sits in an empty spot next to Foreigner. By the way, Foreigner obviously is played by the same person from Craven as well.
Okay.
And she's dealt in. He notices her, smiles, and immediately brushes off the other woman without hesitation. They begin to make small talk as they play poker. There's clearly a lot of history and emotional tension between the two of these spy assassins. Foreigner can tell she wants something. Sylvia's playing coy, back and forth, back and forth.
By the way, that would be Christopher Abbott playing
Yes.
the Foreigner.
Just as Sylvia starts to bring up the cargo Foreigner is supposed to be smuggling, Craven immediately fucks things up. Having realized he's still alive earlier, Craven has developed a hell of a grudge ever since. He grabs Foreigner up from the table with one hand and holds him just like a couple inches in the air by like pulling up on his jacket. Tell us where the cargo is or I tear your guts out through your throat.
Brutal.
Obviously, everything goes tits up after that. Foreigner does his trance thing to escape from Craven's grip, and a shootout ensues. 2.
I was about to say, I like to imagine that like while he's playing this poker game, he like looks at Sylvia and is just like, watch this shit. And he just goes wide, and then he like switches the cards around.
Or he
Like-
just he goes around in a circle and he checks everybody's hands, and then he sits
Yeah.
back down. He's like, I'm all in.
I'm all in, yeah.
Foreigner does his trance thing to escape from Craven's grip, and a shootout ensues.
Damn it, what happened?
Graven happened.
Damn it, Catman, you were supposed to lay low.
Craven growls and dodges a shot, returning the favor by biting into the man's face and tearing off his ear.
Gross.
Meanwhile, Sandman is running defense, blocking shots and pushing people away with his sand powers, trying to incapacitate rather than kill. However, the spotlight moment here in this scene goes to Mysterio, who does not give a single shit about casualties. We needle drop Abracadabra by Sugar Ray as Mysterio gets to work. Showtime. He rises into the air, green and purple smoke lifting him off the ground. He's blasting people out of the building with purple energy, opening portals to send people falling to their death or let monsters grab the shooters and tear them apart.
Oh my god.
The scene in Peacemaker where they're opening doors and there's just crazy shit that like grabs them or they fall in, it's that, but Mysterio's just throwing them in to places.
Oh my goodness.
He opens a thing and a giant like fish monster goes and bites a man's head off and goes back in. Shit like that. When the group he's handling seems to be dispatched, he sinks back to the floor, straightens his cuffs confidently, gets ready to walk away, turns and face plants into a tall bouncer's chest. He looks up at this nearly 7-foot-tall monster of a man covered in body armor. Oh, big guy, huh? He snaps his fingers, enveloping the man in a thin purple energy field. He then starts pointing at various columns and walls, sending the man bouncing around like a pinball. He then opens 2 portals, one below the other, and lets the man fall. Well, you know what they say. Bigger they are. He points his finger down, moving the man faster and faster through the portals, his form becoming a blur so fast you cannot make him out, before Mysterio closes the top portal and looks down into it, revealing the man has been sent screaming straight into the Pacific Ocean, sinking like a stone. Mysterio looks down at the water, laughing. The faster they fucking sink. The fun is cut off when a window is smashed in and a figure in black enters into the fray. Spider-Man, who has been tracking them, has finally arrived.
All right, look, I don't know which mob boss pissed off the other, but put the guns down and I'll only hit you a little bit. You know, as a treat.
Felicia looks briefly to one side, catching Spider-Man's eye as he lands on a bar table.
Felicia?
Shit, he just said her real name. Gotta get him out of here before he makes things worse. She bolts straight to him, grabbing one of his hands to fiddle with the web shooter.
Hey, Spider, wanna play spin the bottle?
You mean like now? Or, wait, what are you doing?
Felicia snatches a web shooter and unloads the whole cartridge at him in impact webbing, cocooning him against a nearby wall.
Son of a bitch.
This holds for a bit as the team eventually finds the cargo and moves to make their way out. It, like I said, only holds for a bit. Spider-Man's used to this webbing. Spider-Man is able to make an opening with one hand and start to pull his way out of the webbing from there. Mysterio flies towards him. Don't worry, I got him. He lightly touches Spidey's forehead, and we zoom inside of Peter's head for a moment. We do that like frame thing. Just
Ooh.
We see the explosion at Feast. The fight with Martin Lee. Him crying in Ben's arms after they find his father dead. We zoom back out. Spider-Man is tweaking the fuck out. Holy shit, that kid's got issues.
Mysterio, what the hell did you do?
I just wanted to pull a bad memory to distract him, but that kid's brain is a minefield. I barely touched it in the dam burst, honest. Spider-Man begins to spasm on the floor, terrified and in pain. His suit writhes and twists, almost like it's moving on its own. Peter goes limp. Then the suit takes over. He lets out a violent roar, begins to trash the whole place to get at our team.
We should probably leave.
What follows is a chase scene to get out of the casino while a roided up trauma and symbiote-fueled Spider-Man Venom thing hunts them down. Flipping tables, knocking people over, maybe eating them? You can't quite tell. What matters is that they're able to make it out, and a fire that started during the initial shootout by the entrance to the casino itself is enough to put some distance between them, and Spider-Man, quote-unquote, swings off into the night. Silver turns to Felicia.
Another friend of yours?
One more word, and I turn you in for the bounty. Capiche?
Early the next morning, they set out for Symkaria. Everyone gets a moment to bond a little more here. Flint and Sylvia open up more to one another about their pasts. Flint sees his powers as a curse that prevents him from being able to live a normal life with his wife and child. But Sylvia sees his powers as a gift that he can use to help protect people. Look at what he was doing in the casino. He wasn't just protecting them from fire, but innocent civilians as well. Deep down, he wants to help people. Felicia is also talking with Mysterio a bit more to kind of figure out what his whole deal is. Far as she can tell by the end of it, he's just a bastard, and he enjoys causing chaos. They land well outside the castle's borders, let themselves in using a secret cave entrance accessible from a secret passage Sylvia shows them. The tech that they've installed into their own suits works at getting them through, but in the middle of the infiltration, the devices suddenly shut themselves off, and the castle alarms are immediately set off. They're able to escape after a whole other sequence of trying to escape gunfire and lasers and attack drones and just advanced Sable security. Barely. Thanks to a last-minute save from the Black Fox in his thieving gear, who stayed behind during the casino heist and the trip there. However, Sylvia is extremely thrown off by Fox's arrival and the suit that he's wearing, though she doesn't quite explain why just yet. When they're back in the jet and safely far enough away from Symkaria, Sylvia immediately threatens to kill Fox, pulls a gun on him, and is like, just ready to shoot him right then and there. She says she remembers him, that he was there that night, the night her family was murdered. This sends the whole team into a big fallout. She presses for more information about like why she remembers him. That outfit, that costume, he was there. He admits, yes, I was. I wasn't part of whatever was going on there. I don't know anything more than the news and everybody else does. To be completely honest with you, it was a heist. I was going to steal some expensive shit and leave. And I saw that dining room, everybody dead, you and your uncle hiding, and I got out of there as fast as I could. Just the wrong place at the wrong time. Silver does not care. Silver does not care in the slightest. She has worked her hardest to try and figure out who on earth caused this and kill them. And just like Craven going down his list of people, she found somebody that in her mind she missed. Nothing else matters now. Obviously, Felicia tries to prevent this. That leads to her and Felicia getting into a whole fight in the back of this plane. The team fractures and they're forming alliances to try and some of them are helping Sylvia, some of them are helping Felicia. Sandman's kind of caught in the middle here. And Mysterio just sees an opportunity to just cause more mayhem, and he's just egging both of them on just to be a shitheel. And just as it's about to reach a fever pitch to the point that they're about to actually start blasting one another and shooting, Sandman discovers that a bomb was tucked in their plane before they left. It detonates, plane crashes. In the rubble, everybody slowly is able to kind of make their way up. Sandman protected Felicia and Sylvia both. They all seem okay. Mysterio has vanished. We reveal later that he has been secretly leaking information to the Chameleon, who is confirmed to have been in charge of this effort to expand his territory and make his power play.
That turd.
And that is where we end Act 2.
Not Mysterio. My buddy.
Mysterio's a bastard.
Yeah, and I love him. No, this is a really good... Mysterio is my favorite Spider-Man villain, so I love the way he's incorporated here. It's very unique, but it feels in line with his character.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man cameo was fun. Love that we're still playing with the implications of the symbiote at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to figure it out. I don't think that he eats people.
Nah.
You said that, and I was like, I don't think so. I think it is just talking very, very quick symbiote lore. I think it would be interesting if this version, assuming this is still Venom, like the Venom that we've seen 3 movies of.
Mm.
I like to think that probably under Peter, there's a bit less of the sort of eating people's heads and probably a bit more eating chocolate.
Fair enough. That wasn't even written into the script, but
right.
I also didn't think the symbiote would ever talk to Peter, but
Right.
so
Who knows? And I mean, we talked about that in the Peter and Prowler episode. It's possibly just a hallucination.
the symbiote in this stage, in my mind, because it's such a small piece, and
Mhm.
we've talked about this a little off recording, is that it traveled to this source of trauma and pain so that it can sort of work its way to trying to get back to being at 100% again.
Mhm.
So it's feeding off of his negative emotions, like the symbiote did in the comics when well before Venom was established as a character.
Right.
And Peter's trying to do better. He's sort of trying to process all these emotions from a couple months back during the explosion at Feast. But all it took is Mysterio being like, "Here's a thing that you remember," and everything goes bleh, and it
Mhm.
just it's
Yeah.
a dam burst just because somebody poked it with a stick.
Right.
And the symbiote immediately is like overfilled like in an instant, and it just sends him into basically a roid rage. And so I would imagine that being like it's Spider-Man, like his build, but he looks like weirdly bulkier. Like he's like
Right.
gained a couple inches in like height and shoulders, and he's throwing tables, he's knocking people over, he's being Venom-esque, but it's still very much like the build of Spider-Man. And of course, in the plane on the way out of there, they're probably like, "What the hell was that?" And Felicia's like, "I don't really know. He's been weird lately."
No, what do you think of symbiote lore of how 6 and 8B's symbiote reconstitution is gonna function?
Well, I'm trying to keep in mind everything that's being talked about here, because I'm going to be writing the biggest project to focus on Symbiote Peter pretty soon here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something like this works very well. There's going to be some big media fallout from Spider-Man, like mutating
Mm-hmm.
into big monster man and attacking a casino.
There was a
So
lot of chaos already going on. So I imagine the
uh,
biggest
we're
news is that a casino was on fire and there was a lot of bullets. But
sure.
and then there's rumors of like, did Spider-Man freak the fuck out? I feel like he freaked the fuck out. But most of the people are talking about the fact that like there was a big heist and a big shootout, and Spider-Man was there. In
Right.
my mind, at least. How much people are like, I think he turned into a roid monster and like freaked out. I'll leave up to y'all.
Mhm. As a whole, this is a really interesting act too. I really enjoy the sort of like structure surrounding it, and the addition of all these characters to kind of aid in the overall narrative for both Sylvia and Felicia. And what I like, and this was actually something that you and I had talked about the night that we recorded Mr. and Mrs. Parker, was the idea that the Black Fox was one of the assassins that murdered the entire Sablinov
Mhm.
family
This has been in my head for a while.
over a year at this
The
point.
idea that Black Fox was there.
Yeah.
In what capacity he was there, I wasn't sure. And I was never really certain if he would be a killer. Maybe he got roped into being part of a larger group
Right.
and he was like, "This is way bigger than I thought it was." Bye. I like it more that he was just like, "It's a rich people house. I'm going to steal some rich people shit."
Mhm.
And then he walks in and they're all dead. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no." And he nopes out of there.
Do you think the Black Fox was the guy in Mr. and Mrs. Parker that like seemingly walks towards the area where Sylvia is and is like, "No, this area is clear." Like, am I misremembering my own story?
I feel like there were like shadowy figures in that room when Sylvia was hiding.
Yeah.
In my mind that is not Fox because that would imply that he was actually like a part of the group that murdered the Sablanovs.
Right.
In my mind he was like at the other end of that hallway getting ready to like steal a couple like some like rich cutlery or a painting or two or something, and he sees across the hall that like they're all dead with their faces in their soup. I probably shouldn't be here.
Right. I just pulled up the scriptment for Mr. and Mrs. Parker. It says here, a man stops in front of the spot Sylvia is hiding. I'm unsure as to who I want this man to be. He's masked, breathing heavily, staring at the spot before walking away. Sylvia hears a coast is clear, come from him. Another person says the same thing in a different language, and another. Oh, snap. We've been calling this guy Frisk the entire time. His name is Fritz.
Fritz, excuse me.
It's all good.
I knew it was. I think the mix up came from when the art museum was called the Frick Collection.
Frick? Yeah.
Which is
Fritz.
the heist that was in the Jed McKay Black Cat run issue 1.
Right.
And I was like, I'm just gonna use that because it's right there in Manhattan. And then I was
Right.
like, wait a minute, we have a villain named like Frisk or Fritz or something. It's that.
And
It's that guy.
Fritz is played by
The guy from Kingsman.
yeah, he's Colin Farrell. So
Colin Farrell.
or no, oh
No.
my god. Freaking damn
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
There you
yeah.
go.
Colin Firth, yeah. Yeah, this is really strong, Jarrett. This is probably one of my favorites of the shit. This is your 4th one. This is my favorite of your 4 that you've done.
Well, why don't we hold that
So
off
far.
until Act 3?
Okay.
Yeah, there's still some time here.
Okay, all right. The implication here got me concerned.
Well, you'll see why when you scroll down, but we'll just go ahead and start.
15 minutes later, I'm just like, this is the worst pitch you've ever done. And
This is some
awful.
shit.
Yeah.
Ready to jump in Act 3?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. As I said, Act 3 is where I get the least fleshed out to the point where it's just sequence descriptions, because this is the part where I was like, maybe during Act 3 we can kind of spitball a bit about, like, given my director choice and how Act 2 went down, we can kind of come up with some similar ideas for how these sequences would play out.
Mm-hmm.
But after that crash and Mysterio's gone, the fallout from the discussion about Fox, there's like, obviously there's a falling out. They want to split up. They can't. They're stranded in the middle of nowhere. They have to work together or they will probably all die. So at this point, it's do or die. You gotta stick together. So they make up for the time being. Let's just get through this and then we never have to see each other again. Their initial plan failed. They were going to try and break in secretly, do it Silver's way, the espionage route. It didn't work for whatever reason. Actually, I say that when Mysterio went to go meet up with Chameleon and be like, hey, it worked. The information that he was passing off, Mysterio turned off their gear.
Okay.
When they were like sneaking around, he just went and it all shut off. So he did that on purpose. He was the cause of that. They didn't just shut off for no reason. The only thing that they can think to do now is that they still need to fix the situation in Symkaria, so they're just going to full on assault the place, front door, just rush them.
Okay.
It's a bad idea. It's surely not going to work, but they don't have any other options at this point. So they do that, and it's just an extended sequence of all of these people using their powers to just break down the door, get through guards as fast as they can, and just make their way to, you said Fritz's building, or the building that was dedicated for the elected president that he is now residing in.
Okay.
They get there. Chameleon is revealed to be holding Fritz captive. He is impersonating Fritz to take over Sable International and use their army, but with the intention for Fritz to take the blame if it doesn't work. A fight ensues between him, Chameleon, and Mysterio, and all the guards. This is just the least fleshed out bit here because it's just a lot of action. But eventually, Silver and Felicia's crew are able to win the day, and Kraven pins Chameleon down and just tears him apart. Just rips him to pieces.
Damn.
Oh, cool.
And Sylvia's like, again, they had that conversation at the beginning as like, are you really sure that you're willing to kill the last person who's related to you? Because she's in a similar boat where she's like, potentially my uncle is trying to have me killed. Would I be able to do the same? She's not sure. Craven's able to do it without hesitation, which kind of says more about him as a character at this point in how much has changed in the gap between the ending of Craven the Hunter and this film.
Right.
Silver was supposed to do it. She had a gun to Chameleon's head, and she was like, we'll just turn him in, figure something out. And Craven's like, fuck that, and he pounces and kills him. And he gets pissed off at Silver that she is not fit to have been a ruler of any kind. Like, she's just a grunt. She's a soldier. She's not able to do what's necessary. And he leaves, expecting to be paid for his work later. He's like, we're not friends. This was a job. The job's done. Contact me when you're ready to pay me. And he leaves. They free Uncle Fritz, who thanks Silver for saving him, saying that now that the president is seemingly gone, dead, kidnapped, taken away, he doesn't know, she can step up and be a leader now. She can take her rightful place as the Queen of Symkaria. She has flashbacks to her Red Room Black Widow-esque training as she was growing up, her uncle's strict teachings throughout the majority of her life. She asks him a question. Was he in on the plan for this takeover? Did he know? Did he play a part in it? And he kind of dodges the question at first. She said, I need an answer. Did you know this was going to happen? Were you a part of this plan? And he goes, yeah.
Ooh.
I was going to blame it all on this shape-shifting supervillain. And then when he took out the leading people, the Sablanovs were going to take back their spot by whatever means necessary. He says it was the only way to assure the Sablanovs return to their rightful place as rulers, and that if they work together, they can bring Symkaria back to... She shoots him between the eyes. Before he can even finish the sentence, he's dead.
Damn.
Makes sense.
Craven said she couldn't do it. She said she couldn't do it to Craven. Craven believed her. She did it. She goes outside and tells the news the entire story. Fritz's whole plan, just lays it out all to dry. It turns out that the president and his family were being hidden away elsewhere. They weren't dead, as Fritz was trying to imply. And she willingly says, like, you guys were rightfully elected as these political figureheads. Nothing's changing. She announces that Sable International, as a show of good faith, is being dissolved. No longer will this private army be looming over their heads. And clearly, she said, I doubt Symkarian government wants us anywhere near them anyway. And I don't want it, so it's gone. It's done. But she promises that if they'll have her, they can always look to her for protection if they need it. Felicia and Silver leave on good terms. She drops Felicia and Fox back off in New York, but with a very stern, playful warning that Symkaria is off limits for thieving. And Felicia's like, maybe. And Sophia's like, no, seriously, do not show up here. You will get thrown in prison or worse. And she's like, okay. It's like, they will actually kill you there if they catch you. Please don't. I don't want to see you caught. And she's like, all right, fine. And that's how the movie ends. It's just that kind of like playful, We can go back in and fill this in because this is very vague. I wanted to fill in Act 2 the most, and I'm glad that I did because most of Act 3 is just action.
Right.
Just action set pieces. And I didn't want to spend all of my time just trying to choreograph stuff. I wanted to write character beats. So that took priority.
What I'm kind of feeling here is that Act 1 is a balance between both Felicia and Sylvia. And Act 2 is certainly more Felicia focused in a lot of ways. And then Act 3 is Sylvia focused.
Right.
And there's a clear arc really for Sylvia when it comes to her family and also like her place in the world as this individual that was trained for so long and her role. It kind of makes me wonder what Felicia's arc is, because I think what I'm seeing signs of is like an idea of Felicia's Felicia having friends, and she mentions that in Act 2, and I think similarly that's the I just dropped my phone. That's the arc that can connect both Sylvia and Felicia. So if Sylvia is dealing with the family and Felicia is dealing a lot with the friend, like she also has some family shit going on, but it is like friendship based. In this Act 3, if this was like fully fleshed out, there needs to be a certain bridge between those two. And it kind of makes me wonder, maybe for Sylvia specifically, the closest person that she has for a friend is Craven. And it's hard because Craven doesn't view her in that same way, right?
Yeah, no, purely transactional.
Right.
They look to one another for help on jobs. I will say that from the outset, this was always going to be more of a Silver Sable story.
Right.
From the outset of the title, Silver and Black, it was always
Yeah.
my intention for Felicia to be, if they are not dual leads, then for her to be a supporting character that helps Silver
Right.
in her
That makes
story.
sense.
The arc in question, I think she provides. The reason I went this route is that I think she provides sort of a realization for Silver that she doesn't have anything beyond this job, like you
Right.
said. And she also obviously has been trained all her life to take down and track down criminals, threats.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is now surrounded by what she perceived to be threats and criminals for this pitch. And they come in clutch and they help her
Right.
win back the day and save her nation, save her
Mm-hmm.
country. But in that, she realizes, like, one, maybe I need to try and do a little better about trying to live my own life and figure out what I want rather than what my country needs and what my uncle wants. And Felicia kind of helps in that aspect, like kind of hammers it home, was like, she said, I didn't know you had so many criminals on speed dial. And she's like, well, I have friends. You know what friends are, right? People that hang out with
Right.
you, not because you're paying them. And the moment at the beginning where they all are like, hey, if you bring in Sylvia alive, you get $2 million. And they all immediately turn on her.
Right.
And that was like a big wake up moment for her where she's like, oh shit, I thought that like my whole life just fell apart because other people went after their wants and I don't know what I want.
Mm-hmm. This once again kind of goes back to the entire phase's theme of identity. And what you just explained kind of makes me look at the whole pitch as a whole in a bit of a different aspect, because now I do see this sort of stuff with Sylvia specifically, and it's a very interesting premise to grapple with. And I know you said that you want to really kind of talk through this third act, fleshing it out more. I like Fritz's death. I think that's kind of a long time coming. When I wrote Mr. and Mrs. Parker, there was a thought of like killing Fritz, but I thought that it was like, that it would just be a child left alone in a castle.
Right. I was shocked you didn't, but it makes sense that he wasn't.
Yeah. And so the perfect summation of this girl who we see in Mr. and Mrs. Parker as just an honest to God child living a life of royalty, going from that to being the person that has to then pull the trigger to kill an individual that she had loved, almost like a father, after a certain point, because she was essentially raised by this man. It's a culmination of an arc that's like between two movies, and in that first movie it's barely really seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great idea. I really enjoy that as a premise. No, you seem to be pretty contemplative. Contemplative.
Oh no, that is just the stomach problems that I've been having. Um, no, I really enjoy the arcs going on for Sable especially. I agree with Peyton a bit that
Felicia doesn't have much of one.
Felicia seems to kind of drop off by Act 3. However, your explanation of their purpose in this story, both of them together, works really well for me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I think that an interesting way that you could juxtapose uh, Sylvia and Felicia by the end of this film is by relating their relationship between Felicia and Fox and Sylvia and Fritz,
Mm-hmm.
and have Fox maybe by Act 3 when there's a resolution, or maybe even through Act 2, um, be a bit of a father figure to both of them, where Sylvia is able to realize through this story that Fritz never cared about her,
Kind
and
of get an idea of what a positive father figure looks like.
yes,
Right.
yes, start to see what a positive relationship looks like based on how Fox and Felicia um, work with each other, and that's why it that could add more damage to Sylvia's relationship, that Fox was there the night that her family was murdered. Before they Felicia tries to go for reconciliation with both of them,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's how Sylvia starts to separate from Fritz and decides that she can go without him because Fritz never
Mm-hmm.
cared.
And that's the that makes the small fallout there near the end of Act 2 more impactful as well, because she has a connection with Fox, and seeing him in that gear made her suddenly realize, like, all of that training, all of that, like, that was built into her growing up, that the people that killed her family need to be tracked down and hunted down and killed. Like, everything that's been beaten into her entire life by this negative influence, she's starting to unlearn that with a positive father figure influence. And then it all kind of crumbles a little when she sees him in that gear, and she's like, you were there.
Right.
And there's a moment where she's like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him right now, and it'll be the last person that was there that I haven't killed. And she's talked down.
I think that makes me think probably during Act 1 and 2 there could be some scenes that we don't see in this scriptment itself, but probably some things where perhaps Sylvia is building a sort of bond with Fox
Mhm.
that's like different from the bond that she has with Fritz. And it could be like paired with possibly some flashbacks of like, maybe Fritz is like, you got to learn how to play chess like a grandmaster, because the only way to ever win is by complete and utter domination. And then maybe
Yes.
she's playing against Black Fox during like the flight or whatever, right? And he's talking, and he's like, you know, you can just play chess just for the fun of it. Not everything is like a competition.
Yeah.
And like, we could just play this game. Or maybe he's like, maybe chess is a bit too much right now. Why don't we just flip these all over and we'll play checkers? And she's like, okay, like I've never really had to play a game that's more simple than this.
Chess
Yeah.
with Frisk, checkers with Fox. Maybe a moment
Mhm.
where she discovers she actually doesn't know how to play checkers,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
and Fox just dominates at checkers because he's doing like the front and back jumps like constant.
Right.
And she gets pissed off because she's like, you're not supposed to be able to do that shit. And he's like, yeah, you can. That's how it works.
Strengthen the purpose that this is more of a Sylvia movie, Sable movie, by including a lot more of those flashbacks.
Mhm.
Like maybe right after she's talking with Craven about how she would find it very difficult to kill one of her family members, that's when you also cut to another flashback of her growing up with Fritz,
Mhm.
where it shows that her moral stance on this one is not as solid as she would immediately want Craven to think.
Right.
It's occurring to me now that we haven't gotten into the mid or post credit scenes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into those and start to
I got one question.
close this out.
I got one question.
Go ahead,
and, I,
Peyton.
and I know I'm sure I had the answer for this back when I wrote this, but now I don't. Do you think so with Black Fox clearly involved with the murder of the entire Sablonov family.
I mean, he was there. He didn't.
Right.
He wasn't
Yeah.
like involved with the
He
plan or
wasn't
anything.
involved. But do you think that possibly Fritz was the one that coordinated the murder of the Sablonov family, or do you think it was several international governments all kind of going in and beating their shit in after the bin and
Right.
in May
That was my
adventure?
understanding, was that it was spies from multiple different international organizations who were like, Simkari is bad news. These people are bad. We just
Yeah.
take them out in one fell swoop and have them like keep them a third world country for as long as possible, so that they
Right.
don't become an outright threat.
Right.
So something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think, me personally, I don't think Fritz would organize that, because
Mhm.
he, like I said in this pitch, he was forced to concede the throne because it was like a sign of weakness that all of a sudden 90% of the royal family was taken out
Right.
by, like, I don't know, just a surprise attack.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't think Fritz would do that willingly.
Okay.
I could see
I
him
agree.
wanting to be like, oh, I'm like 18th in line for the throne. Let me just kill everybody else in one fell swoop and blame it on like international terrorists. But he was already in a position of, he seemed pretty happy with where he was at in Mr. and Mrs. Parker, at least from my
Right.
understanding. I think it makes more sense that all the other governments, spy organizations were like, these guys need to go.
Yeah.
And Fritz clung to that and was like, we need to claw our way back by any means necessary.
That makes sense. I say that as, even though I'm the one that wrote it, I'm like, yeah, I realize now. Yeah, that makes sense. I need to go back and re-listen to Mr. and Mrs. Parker. I
It's
kind of
fun.
forgot a lot of it.
Mid-credit and post-credit scenes here. Both are just short blurbs. The mid-credit scene, we would reveal that Mysterio is back in his secret, legally distinct Sanctum Sanctorum. He did escape, and he is secretly keeping Chameleon stashed. So Chameleon was able to sort of switch himself out, do some face swapping thing. Craven killed some random who looked like his brother.
Craven just keeps taking L's with this. He's never gonna win.
But the reveal there is simply that both are alive and well. Chameleon probably won't stay there. They're not like buddies. But they're both gone, and they both are alive. Mysterio will return for sure.
Wonderful.
Our post-credit scene is that Silver has asked for Flint Marco to be flown back out to Simcaria on like a private jet. And he's brought into, it's not the castle, because she's like I said, she's not affiliated with the royal family right now, but she does still have like plenty of her own personal finances stashed away. And she brings him in and she's like, I want to start doing my own thing. I want to try and figure out what I want to do. And even though I'm trying to get away from what Fritz wanted for me, it is still all I've ever known.
Okay.
So she is going to continue to be in a similar line of work, but this time it's going to be on her terms.
Cool.
So she's developing her own personal strike force, known as the Wild Pack. And she's asking Sandman to be her first recruit.
Sweet.
People who are aware of Silver Sable and the Wild Pack will know that Sandman is an on and off good guy. He was on the Wild Pack for a bit. He was an Avenger at one point in Marvel Comics.
He was. He was also a Fantastic Four villain for a bit, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. But the implication is that Silver Sable and the Wild Pack will return in some capacity with Sandman in their ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Makes sense.
And so that kind of closes. At one point, the Wild Pack tease was just at the end of Act 3, because I feel like that kind of closes out her arc for like, what do I want, rather than what have I been told needs done. Or so I think that kind of helps to close her arc out a little better. Maybe it works better as being the end of Act 3 instead of post credits. But yeah,
Jarrett, this was a really fun pitch.
yay!
I think you did a really strong job, and I stand by my statement that this is probably like my favorite of yours.
Wow.
just seeing you grow in terms of style and also like concepts. I really enjoy this.
I think, yeah, I would reiterate what Peyton says. I think this is one of your best. The action scenes, especially, were very easily pictured,
Yeah,
and especially Mysterio's stuff. That was great.
yeah.
Mysterio became quickly became my Montana, for lack of a better word. I just
Yeah, that makes sense.
just came up with the character. I was like, what if he's just magic? And I was like, what does it look like if Doctor Strange was just a bastard?
Go ahead and do a Mysterio Phase 3 pitch if you want to.
Dude, I don't even know what I would do.
Oh, I can take over.
Actually, I take that back because I know what I could do, but it wouldn't be a Mysterio pitch.
We
But I
can't
know
talk
what I
about
could
it on
do.
the episode. We'll
Phase
talk about
three.
it.
Phase
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up, y'all.
Guys, this was a blast. I'm really proud of this. The act, I tend to get strapped for time with these, and then in the last like couple days before recording, I get just a fire under my ass, and then I write 15 pages in an hour and a half. But I'm really proud of this. I had a lot of fun, especially with Act 2, if you couldn't tell, and I'm really excited to see how this continues to evolve as we keep going. So guys,
Hell
thank
yeah.
you so
Okay.
much for listening, and tune in 2 weeks from now when you hear that, I believe, that guest pitch that we recorded yesterday that Peyton mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to reveal what that is now?
Fuck it, yeah.
How do we describe this?
Garfield will be joining the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies.
That's kind of all you can
cat.
say
Yeah.
without giving away the game. This is going to be an interesting one, and I hope you guys are excited to see how that shakes out. It's that one's wild. So tune in for that,
Yep.
and then after that is what's after that?
Jessica Drew.
That's right.
My pitch.
Hell yeah, Jessica Drew. That one I am excited for.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We'll see you next
Be sure
time.
to follow us on Blue Sky. Join the Discord. And yeah, see y'all around.
See ya.
See ya. Have a good one.